Assalamu alaikum. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow youth and citizens of the world. Today is Happy Youth Day, Africa Youth Day, by the way. Yeah. These past 5 days have been powerful. It's been a pleasure and honor to be part of this conference. Seeing so much of various contexts being discussed in this positive space, it's been an incredible few days. I'm going to share with you a Somali proverb. It says, "Far keliya madaqdo," fall madaqdo, means that one finger cannot wash a face. To me, it means that a collective will and commitment to build a truly inclusive world, we cannot do it without each other. This conference has been an opportunity to interact with people with different faiths, spiritual, and land strategies and opportunities to foster peace around the world. Following this week, I will take back some few lessons and continue to think about. In an increasing pluralistic world, we're all becoming more conscious of our own multiple identities, be it gender, race, ethnicity, and religion, and so on. What I realize is that interfaith work looks and means different in different contexts. Beliefs become identities, and religious identities have evolved with it. For my community, I work to prevent violent extremism. I often wondered why young men and women will join violent extremism. I once interviewed a 28-year-old man in Kenya, and he said that he never felt like he belonged. He was born in Kenya, but the constant ethnic profiling pushed him into it. When I asked him what was his reasons for wanting to migrate, he said it was difficult to find a place in Kenya, so he joined a violent extremism to provide him a better identity for being part of a cause. The pull of one overarching communal religious identity is pervasive and strong. Recruiters of violent extremism misuse religious context to recruit disenfranchised youth who seek a sense of belonging to feel part of something. While they claim to teach morality and ethics, they foster a sense of otherness, demonizing other groups, us versus them, that implicitly and now increasingly explicitly condones bigotry and racism. Recruiters to such violent extremism recognize the significance of education and religious institutions to impart their worldviews and ideologies. They are present in our schools and our universities, religious institutions, and social spaces. They have infiltrated our institution, influencing our students, our young people, recruiting youth to their cause. Multiple identity based on ethnic, familial ties, relation, and based on faith are being exploited to foster division and exclusion. At individual level, especially for young people from minority backgrounds, such as myself, it can be a struggle to find acceptance with layered and complex identities. For these multiple identities that bind us across the divisions, it can be recognized, expressed, elevated, and celebrated. As a member of Next Gen Parliament, I'm inspired and thrilled to meet young people who are driven, passionate to foster inclusion, love, justice, and reconciliation. We've had conversations of how to motivate and inspire young people. We've talked about newer strategies, including how we can translate dialogue into local actions. One of our youth partners, a common word among youth, Akaway, is one of the examples of this youth commitment. In July 2017, I joined 100 young people from across the world for 1-week interfaith training in Khartoum, Sudan. During this time, we engaged challenging conversations on how we can design programs that can actually work in our community. For me, this meant that I had to better understand the role of religious actors in my own work in prevention and violent extremism. So during this conference, we learned that in order to achieve global peace and harmony, we must all do our part within our local communities. For my region, when I look into religious institutions, they still don't necessarily incorporate young people. It is important to engage all levels. We need to come up with a collective mechanism. At the management level, because they can enrich the decision making as they can give a different perspective. And also at summons, they should be appealing to young people. We need to have inclusive narrative that can pull them in. What I want to leave behind is that young people need to be heard. I'm sure you've heard this so many times, that not to be spoken for and not to be spoken to. Instead, we need to establish an inclusive mechanism, intergenerational conversation. We must learn of the wisdom of our elders and create a path for our young people to build our future and they want. As we're closing tonight, we're energized and inspired. Let's not leave that energy behind. Let's carry it and continue to propagate inclusion, love, reconciliation, and global understanding. Thank you.